And we are live. So I want to wish everyone on this hemisphere a good afternoon or morning wherever you are. I want to say good evening to Saifyah, who is, yes, across the pond having this amazing conversation with us. She is a sponsor of the Culture Shifters Unite media initiative and has said yes to the Aligned Year. Saifyah Robinson is a lover of the written word and storytelling and
Mm.
has a podcast of her own called Writing Black Joy. And before I give it away to Saifyah, I just want to center how important it is for us Black people, and I mean diasporic, and that's what I love about your podcast, Saifyah, is
Mm.
that you are so inclusive of the Black identity, which is so rich, deep, complex, diverse. I mean, a Black person from Philadelphia, from Trinidad, from Jamaica. I mean, we're just not Barbados. It's not the same, but all
Not the
valid.
same.
Yeah.
Not the same. I feel like, when I did two guest interviews today, and I'm like, one spirit. it
One
was it,
spirit. That's the part.
mm,
Ooh, that's the part. And no matter who I listen to, on your podcast, I feel a sense of home. I do feel a sense of connection. And I do think that that ancestral lineage, I think that bond is unbreakable. And even though we don't know each other or have the same lived experience, I think it's super important to name that inside our existence. I love that you said it's writing Black joy because I think we've identified quite a bit with the pain story, with the trauma story, with the oppression story. But what about the power that we have to write, the power that we have to take that pain, take that and transmute it? And I think that there's not really another group of people on the planet that does it.
mm, not quite the same. Not quite the same. And
Not quite the same.
yeah, and it's one of those things. Like I tell people, I interview writers, I interview creatives, and the writing is about the stories that we tell. But I also, this is something that I've mentioned a couple times, which you said I'm from Barbados. Um, our national anthem has a line that says, "We write our names on history's pages," and I feel like writing Black Joy is about the what we write on the pages of history, what we write on the world. It's not just the physical act of writing, but it's like, what are we leaving behind, right? What are we writing on those histories pages? So to me, it encompasses all of that, and it's my heart. I love it. It's the that favorite thing I do. Absolutely love it.
Yes, and your guests absolutely love you. You're touching the hearts of so many. So, if you could just share with us what inspired you to start this particular podcast, Writing Black Joy.
Mm, yeah. Well, it was I wanted I wanted to put forth the narrative, the joyful narratives. I felt like, as you said, I felt like I'd read a lot about of stories where there was that painful narrative, there was traumatic narratives, there was the victim narrative, and those stories need to be told as well. It's very important for those stories to be told. But I was like not seeing enough of the joyful narrative, and it's so funny because when I was having the conversation with my guest today, I was like, I wanted to see those complex characters, right? Even if a character has goes through a difficult experience, nobody's one dimensional, right? People will still have the joy, they will still laugh. And I wanted to make sure that those elements were seen. So once I could see, in terms of technology, people are able to self publish, people are able to put their work out there. And I started to see more of those stories. And I wanted to celebrate them. I wanted to highlight them. I wanted to share, be able to do what I could to amplify those stories out into the world, because
Mhm.
I feel like these stories, the tagline is that, I'm celebrating the Black creatives, changing the world one story at a time. And then that, to me, that's exactly what I feel like it is. Highlighting it, celebrating it, and, you know, that's what's happening one story at a time.
Oh, and I think that's really how it happens, and that's not to discount those
I can't tell if it's me. Hello? Hmm. It's Ber-Henda. All right, folks, if I'm still live, I think Ber-Henda's got dropped off. So we shall be back in a minute.
All right, sorry folks for that technical difficulty, but thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for staying tuned in. So, Sophia, we were getting into the power of the storytelling and how it happens, how change
Mhm.
happens one story at a time. And I was saying that it's not to besmirch anyone who protests. You know, I think that that's also a revolutionary act. But I think we all have a role to play, and I think you're playing your role as
Hmm.
a convener, as someone who is having a conversation, perhaps one on one, but that one on one conversation goes from one to many.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so I definitely think I think that there is a place for all of those things, and it's interesting that you mentioned protests because I was one of my guests last season. We were even talking about, like, when Black people protest, there's music, there's art, there's creativity. I
It's,
don't
it's a
think that those things are mutually exclusive, right?
party.
So for me, I feel like even in celebrating those things, we are not it's not taking away from that experience. It's kind of adding to it because the creative process is there right in the midst of it, right? So I definitely you know I think people will contribute in their own way, and but I don't think you can take the creative process out of that. There's a guest that I'm having on the next season, and she wrote a play where she talks about Black women's experience in the healthcare system, right?
Mm.
But she did it as a video game, it was an interesting idea, and I love that conversation. But one of the things she talked about was she she brought together a lot of Black women to hear their experiences of how did they get on in the healthcare system, etc. And when they came together, they did some improv, they did some music, they did. So to me, I feel like you just can't separate the things out, right? The creativity is going to be at the heart of that because it is at the heart of our people. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive at all.
Oh my goodness. And speaking to the heart of our people, we know that investing in Black businesses, um, diasporic businesses, is essential. So you said
Mm.
yes to this Aligned Year program. In addition to that, you are sponsoring the talk show, the unnetworking, the podcast. What was it about this experience and maybe this offering that made you say yes?
Well, as I told you off screen, I say yes. If Ber-Henda calls, I say yes. It's just it happens, you know. I know your work. It's really important. But also I feel like, for many years I thought I was self-employed for many years. And I love to support people's businesses. People supported my business. I feel like that is how the economy works. I am not an economist. I am pretending to know, but I feel like supporting the businesses that will in turn support your society. Like I think it's a mistake to support. We're so willing to support the businesses that aren't going to support us. Like, no, I'm going to support the businesses that are going to support me, right? And I feel like that then creates a community, which is something that's really important to me. So for me, supporting it is like it's a no-brainer because I know that will go on to support someone else, and someone else will come and support me. And to me, that's how it works. So I'm happy to take part in it, and also I get to hang out with you and the community there. So that was a no brainer to me as well.
Oh, and I think that, in community, that is also part of our heritage. We do things in community. We drumming circles, music. I mean, if we go back, I mean, we've always done things together. Our grief is in community. We don't isolate. So everything that we do is in community. And I think that that's what has been able to sustain us. I mean, I know that
Mm,
colonization and the transatlantic slave trade has impacted us all in immeasurable,
mm.
ways. But one of the things that they tried to take from us, I believe, is the very thing that holds us together, and that you tried to separate us, and we will not be separated.
We will not be separate. Exactly, we will not be separate. So I that's a no brainer to me. Happy to
Yeah.
be here.
Oh my gosh. So, where can we find more writing Black Joy? Where can we find you?
I love that. So if you head over to www.writingblackjoy.com, there's links to the podcast, Spotify, Apple, whatever you listen on. New season is coming in July. In about 2 weeks, we have a new season. As I was just saying, lots of incredible guests, few couple of novelists. As I told you, um, we had the amazing uh, guest who created that theater piece that she turned into a video game. Um, I've I'm trying to think. Today I interviewed a lady who's an actor, but she's then written a book. She's written about the wellness industry. Fascinating book. Absolutely enjoyed that conversation. Um, just it's just been amazing. I met a lady who she writes Black romance meets wanderlust. So we talked all about travel and how she gets inspired to set these stories out in the Caribbean and all over the world. Listen, I
Oh,
the guest.
listen, you better, Sophia, like, so you're really driving. I'm gonna send you this picture too, of my mom and her girlfriend. So they were Black women traveling in like the early 70s, which is like almost,
Mhm,
I mean, like the
I
picture that I'm
heard
gonna
that.
send you, yeah, is a picture of she and her best friend in Florence. My mom has a picture of her in Morocco, like riding a camel. They even had like luggage for their hair, like their wigs had
Of
their
course,
own, right?
of
To
course.
the pandemonium they caused when they were in the Casbah, like they had to get a police escort out because they just caused just such, right, Black girl magic before it was even a thing, right?
Before it was even a thing. You're so right.
So I love hearing about this woman who is penning Black love, Black romance paired with Wanderlust because I think it just disrupts
Mm.
narratives, but also gives us a portal into imagination of what is possible for us.
Exactly. And to me, this is, you asked why I started the podcast. And one of the things I wanted to highlight is like, I want people to be reading these books and or watching this theater or, you know, engaging with this creativity and get excited, get inspired, feel possibility, feel expansive ideas around what is possible for your life, and not just turning on the TV and feeling like you're destined to only do one or two things, right? Like years ago there was some research that may very well be different now, but there was some research that was done here in the UK, and they were like so many of the narratives around black characters was either crime or music,
And no
right?
in
That was
between.
it, music, nothing else, right? I'm like, we're writers, we're travelers, we're actors, we're directors,
We
all the right, all the things, poets, short stories, long form. I interviewed oh goodness, her name just totally slid right out of my mind. I know her name, but she produces a journal for writers of color, the Quayle Journal. And I interviewed her, Laura Pengram, that's her name. And I talked about how she wanted to publish these stories. And she when this happened, she was in a wheelchair. She couldn't walk up and down her building, her walk up. She was in a walk up like in somewhere in Manhattan, and she prior to that she'd been a singer. She'd been this that, and she was just like, I still want to be able to engage with the community, and so she created this journal, this Quayle journal, and Quayle means truth, right? And so for her, it's all about the truth. The truth will have no walls, okay? The truth will have no disabilities. The truth will out. And to me, that is what I don't think that a true story can be told about us without including joy. I just don't think it's possible. So um that's why I do it. That's where my guests come from. That's what we talk about. We talk about all the things, all the things. To one
and
of my guests, we started off saying we are going to disrupt capitalism, and we finished talking about Marvel movies and Michael B. Jordan. Like literally, we go everywhere, all over the place. That is the heart of it.
I love that too, that you can go from, disrupting capitalism to Marvel movies to Michael B. Jordan, which in its own way is still on topic because they are disrupting and redistributing what. So shout out to Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, if you're catching this interview.
If Ryan Coogler is catching this interview, I need to have you on the podcast, sir. Reach out, reach out.
Please,
But no,
somebody tag Ryan Coogler on this because we're
somebody
going to
needs to
post
tag
this.
Ryan Coogler on this.
Someone
We will.
please tag Ryan Coogler so that he can be on Saifyah's podcast because literally, I mean, not even figuratively, he has written Black joy. He has captured, I think,
That's right.
within the most recent times, the voice and the culture of Black people in a way that I feel gives us a level of pride, aspiration,
Mhm.
dignity, respect, and
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah, he is one of he's on my list. So somebody bring him my way. We're all connected. 7 degrees of separation, or I should say 7 degrees of connection. Bring him my way. But even so, like I don't want to, like, the guests that I have are all like
Of
when
course,
I
they're
came
all
off the call, when I came off the call today, I was like, these conversations were so epic. I felt like I had no words. Like, these are people who are 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 defying the odds, right? I'm like,
mm,
let's even if we're let's just talk about creatives as a whole, all right? To be a creative in a world that wants you to have a 9 to 5, okay,
mm.
that wants you to stay in this box, to be a creative in this world is already you are already stepping out. Now, to be a Black creative in this world, I'm like, I want to celebrate you all the way. So I can't wait for this new season. I can't wait for future seasons. Like this is yeah, this is
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, I'm definitely, so yeah, check it out, www.writingblackjoy.com.
Mhm.
I'm blogging again, believe it or not. And so new blog post going up
You blog.
today, sophiarobinson.com. And I'm just blogging about some of the questions that have been in my mind over the last however long. And today's post is about art and about who gets to decide what is art. Right. So if you want to check that out, sophiarobinson.com. And yeah, it's yeah, come hang out with me. I love the conversation, as you'll see from today's blog post.
I'm putting it in our notes in our comment section so people can easily access
Absolutely.
it. Saifyah
That will be out
Robinson.
in the next hour.
So,
So yeah.
so that is
And
there too for them to catch it. So I'm putting all the things. So I mean, Saifyah, one, thank you so much for saying yes to the aligned year. So for those of you who don't know, like, what are you talking about, the aligned year? So that
yeah.
it's a hybrid business program where intuition meets biz strategy meets community meets amplification. So
Mhm.
I'm working with a small collective of women over this year to look at intuitively what's coming down and coming through. Because writing, I feel like just the nature of writing is inherently intuitive. Like you just kind of, when you start writing, something else can kind of like take over.
Let me tell you, I've had two interviews today, and we literally both talked about this, like writing and creativity. It is magic. It is intuitive. It is, we are portals, right? And to me, that is at the heart of writing and any creativity. And I was one of my guests today was saying, like, how dare you keep that from the world? If that is gifted to you, how dare you keep that from the world? So anybody out there who's a creative, you don't be
Yeah.
don't be shy. Put that stuff out there. But yeah, to me, I definitely like. I lean hard. My friend laughs at me now because all I say is vibes. I'm like, I'm leaning hard into those vibes. I'm leaning hard into that intuition. And so
Mhm.
there is no better combination.
There absolutely is not. So I am just so excited about what's going to be coming forward. So you'll be hearing from our sponsors, of course, over the course of this year, but they're also sponsoring branded content. So if you enjoy my newsletter, so you can head over to berhendawilliams.com. I'll put it here in the comments. You'll be hearing from these amazing, rich, deep, empathic, intuitive voices. And especially when we pair our spiritual gifts along with social consciousness and evolution, right? I think
Mhm.
that there's something so powerful here as we make ourselves available to be just what you said, the portal. We are portals.
Sure
Yeah,
thing. We sure
yeah,
are.
we
Absolutely.
are. So, Saifyah, I can't wait to see you. We have 3 spots available for the aligned year. So next week we'll be doing our seasonal planning, and what we do is once a quarter we just look at the quarter. We're not doing a whole year. We're not doing SMART goals. We're simply looking at it is what it is. There are no mistakes made, but what do we need to revise? What do we need to let go of? What makes us feel expansive? What makes us feel good? And aligning
Mhm.
up with that and doing that in community because that's just kind of what we do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I love the seasonal planning. I know I know we're almost there, but I just want to say this. I close to where I work, there's this apple tree, and I've been watching it for the last year, right? This is random, I know, but go with it, go with it. There's
I
this
love
apple tree
it.
for the last year. And during winter it almost looks, I thought the poor tree had died, okay? Yesterday I looked, there's blossoms, there's apples on the tree, and I'm like, you talk about that intuitiveness, right? The nature is seasonal, but we feel like we have to be on 24/7, all 365 days a year. This seasonal planning thing, to me, I love that. I love the idea that we are seasonal creatures. What I want to do this season may not be what I want to do in
Yeah.
winter. It may not be what I want to do in spring. Like, and I've always I've always been very seasonal, even with my creative practice.
Mhm.
So this, come join us, be in community, lean into your seasonal nature, and come join us.
Yes, you will absolutely love it. And speaking of, as we close, I noticed that too, Saifyah, in this summer season in our hemisphere, poetry has been very big for me.
I noticed, I saw a piece today that I was like, what? Ber-Henda is on point. And lean into that season. Lean into that season. That's what I will say.
Yeah. So I'm like, I was like, okay, so instead of like, well, why is it here? Try to intellectualize it. No, it's here. Let's just go, let it lead me, let the poetry lead me, and I'll just go where the poetry follow. Wherever the poetry leads, I will follow.
Poetry is in the air. Okay. Just let it, if it's coming to you, just catch it and put it out into the world, right? I firmly believe
That is it. So, my friend, I will see you next week. Thank y'all so
that.
much for tuning in, whether you're catching it now or on the replay. You will be hearing more from Saifyah and Writing Black Joy, because we understand that our voices are inherently revolutionary and we can make the change that we want to see in this world. And we all know that right now, but joy, Black joy, is still
Mm-hmm.
happening. So, um, to my folks in Texas, where them fans at. I love it. I love seeing that too. Like the fans that in the line dance. I love seeing that. And I just love seeing us in joy, because joy too is also resistance. So Saifyah, thank you for being with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Looking forward to the year. It's going to be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. All right. Bye for now. Peace, everybody.
Mm,
Bye.
bye.